What's up, buddy? So today we're taking a look at Destruction Derby 2, and which settings looks the best for this game in DuckStation. So we are starting here with the default settings. So the internal resolution is native resolution or 1x, dithering is turned off, and the scaling here is bilinear smooth. And yeah, I guess this looks alright. It's somewhat faithful to how it looks on original hardware. But no, I think we can do a little bit better than this. So first of all, let's increase the internal resolution to this recording's resolution, which is 4K. There we go. And yeah, that makes things look a lot more crispy. We do have quite a lot of some of the 3D geometry kind of bubbling around here, and also some warping with the textures, which is pretty standard here for PlayStation 1 games here. But we do have geometry correction here in DuckStation, so let's turn that on, and that fixed a lot when it comes to how the 3D objects looks here. So yeah, still some of the kind of textures kind of warping around a bit there, but well, it is at least a lot better there. And also for this game, it looks alright here, I would say, just to increase the internal resolution. Not always the biggest fan of that, given that kind of the graphics can be somewhat inconsistent here, so we have some parts that really sticks out here. But for these games, I would say it still looks alright here. But let's try some other things here as well. Dithering here, for example, it's turned off by default, so yeah, let's try to keep that on there. And well, for this game it's not a gigantic difference here. I would say it for the most part looks a little bit better here. You have some more details here in textures and stuff like that, so yeah, I think for the most part this works alright here. But well, as a comparison, let's turn it off again. There we go. Yeah, it's definitely a little bit cleaner here when we have it turned off here, but no, I think I prefer this on here, so that's what I'm gonna go with here. So yeah, next up here is downsampling. Let's turn that on. There we go. So the internal resolution here is still 4K, but that is then downsampled back to the native resolution. And yeah, this could be a pretty good alternative to just going with the default settings here. And yeah, it looks alright. It's a little bit smoother looking compared to the default settings there. So yeah, it looks fairly well here. Everything kind of blends in fairly well with this option here. Let's also try the scaling and change that from the more blurry bilinear smooth to nearest neighbor, which gives it well, it's a lot more pixelated here. And well, for most games I usually prefer it to be a little bit more blurry compared to just pixelated, and well, I would say that would be the case here as well. But it still looks alright here with the nearest neighbor here. But well, let's go back to bilinear smooth. There we go. Yeah, looks pretty nice. And yeah, as a last thing for these settings here, we do have another options if we want it to be a slightly blurry, but not as much as it is here now. So yeah, let's try that. I'm gonna turn off the downsampling and change the internal resolution to 2x. There we go. So yeah, now we have a little bit of upscaling, but not all that much. Then under advanced settings here, and we have multi-sampling. So let's turn that on, and this is the one I found to work the best here. So there we go. And yeah, here we still have fairly good detail in the 3D objects and stuff like that, but we also have some blurriness here, so things kind of blends in a little bit better. And yeah, I would say this would be my preferred option here for this game. So yeah, it looks pretty nice here actually. And for the last thing would also be to have a look at widescreen. we have a widescreen rendering here. So yeah, let's try that next. Alright, well, here we go. This is 16 by 9 widescreen, and yeah, this looks pretty good actually. It's not perfect, so we definitely see some stuff kind of popping into existence of the edges of the screen here. But yeah, it's still very playable here with 16 by 9 widescreen. Here we do have in this little corner here, it's a little bit more noticeable there. Yeah, we can see kind of the road builds up there on the edges of the screen, and yeah, also that fence there. But yeah, for the most part, this looks pretty good. And well, let's also have a look at ultra-wide widescreen. So here is 20 by 9. And well, it's a little bit more here, but again, there is still playable, I would say here, even with ultra wide here. But yeah, we do have some parts here where it's quite noticeable. Yeah, let's go back to 16 by 9 again. There we go. But yeah, this looks quite super. And well, I guess this will be it for this video. You all stay awesome, and I see you in the next one. Bye bye.